Do you feel stuck no matter what you do, that you can't change your life, that you keep coming up against the same obstacles? If this is you, watch this video. I spoke to yoga master Eddie Stern. Back in the day, he was like the person that taught Madonna, Ashtanga and all that kind of stuff. He's a proper top level yoga teacher master. I've had the privilege of being taught with him, and I spoke to him on my podcast, Under the Skin. Before I show you this fantastic clip, which helps any of you that feel stuck, and I know that's how I feel a lot of the time, because you're living in a world that's bearing down on you. You're living in a state of fear and hypnosis. You're going to need to get in touch with the arcane methods of spiritual masters, the deep traditions and the newly emerging ideas, and find your own synthesis, your own way of getting through your life. But how are you going to do that without mentors, masters and teachers? My experience is it's impossible. Now, I'm appearing live in the UK from January to May next year. If you want to come and see me, I'm in Scotland, I'm in the south, east, west, I'm all over England. Click on the link in the description to come and see me if you wanna. This conversation originally took place in my podcast Under the Skin. If you're interested in signing up for that, please do. And stay all the way to the end of this clip, because Eddie Stern is a man who understands deep information. So stay to the end and let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you.
I wonder, Eddie, how this kind of, it seems like a second migration needs to take place after what occurred in the 50s and 60s with much of this information traveling from east to west. It seems that there is room once again for an iteration of spiritual principles that are accessible and can sustain and adhere in a climate that's designed primarily for commodification, individualism, materialism, and limiting ideas. You know, the people that would benefit most from, Ashtanga primary series are too busy doing a job that they don't like or looking for a job they don't like. And I suppose that's a further demonstration, were it required, of how fundamentalist and how extremist our economic ideology is, that it prohibits a simple spiritual life for the majority of people.
Yeah.
This is a fundamental requirement for human beings.
Yeah, and also it hasn't been a part of our culture to incorporate those things. And in traditional cultures and many of the Eastern cultures, it's this deep level of spirituality is included in the upbringing of the people in those cultures. And so these things become normalized. It's just part of being. And we didn't grow up with that in at least America. I can just speak on our behalf. In fact, much of America has worked hard to become sort of a religiously assimilated country, so that even the religious things that we follow by have been softened, and we want religion to be easy. We want spirituality to be easy. We forget that these things are hard work. It's hard to be a moral person. It's hard to live in alignment with your ethics. It's hard to, even small ones sometimes, telling a small lie, or stealing someone else's idea, or we do these tiny little things that you have to be vigilant to really live in accordance with these things, and that's challenging.
Yeah, when you were talking before about those three areas, what is determining your, these motivating factors? Is it like the lens through which I live is a 12-step one, and part of that is a kind of mental vigilance around motivation. Why are you talking to that person? What is your expectation in engaging with that person? And it's curious for me to observe how often I've got pretty basic, this person can probably serve me in some way. For a long, long time, I just regarded people as sort of vessels that I could tip into myself, even quite powerful people. It's you're a powerful movie producer. I can tip some of that into myself. And because I suppose, as you were saying, there's a biological basis for these spiritual principles, and because one way or another I've been doing yoga and meditating for
not
a long time.
Not a biological basis, but a location.
Right, like an interaction at least.
A location, not a basis. Sorry, you've been doing a long time. You have been. Yep.
it's altered my perception. The way that I see things is changing. It's very easy to return to, it feels like, the more basic or more primal or more individualistic or selfish impulses require a lot less tending. It's like that stuff's got its own gravity, its own magnetism. I don't need to go and do breathing exercises in order to experience greed or egotism or self-centeredness. But when I perform practices, which for me are like sort of spending time with other people that have expressed vulnerability around addiction and want to change their lives around addiction, or want to live a spiritual program, live a spiritual life. When I meditate, when I pray, and when I practice step 10 in a 12-step program, remain observant of my thoughts, step 11 of a spiritual program, prayer and meditation, step 12, service of others, I at least have some coordinates, I at least have a map. And I'm very interested, to return to one of the things we were talking about earlier in our conversation, Eddie, the idea that a component of yoga is physical. There are positions, there is a practice, because in a way, one of the advantages of the material world is that, you can see it and you can touch it. And it's nice when spiritual practices have, that they interface and interact with ideas that we can understand. Go there for 1 hour, sit down, do this, breathe here. As I get older, I'm more and more open to instruction and structure. I really need it. Without it, the chaos, man.
Totally. Well, you have, you're the chaos and your other half is the chronos.
Yes.
The daily practice is very important of something, because that, what we do is who we become. What we do is who we become physically. What we do is who we become, from the food we eat, and also from the way we think and the way we act. So we want to have particular things set out for us, so we know, if I do this, this is going to be my outcome. If I want to be an integrated, kind, loving, compassionate person who is in tune with the universe, that's an outcome that I desire in my life. That's the way that I want to be. And so what are the things that I need to do to make sure that that is who I am, that's how I live? So you choose your practices, and some will be physical, some will be breath, some will be emotional, some will be mental, and some will be devotional. And so and that's the whole package of yoga. You have all those things happening. But why do you need to do something physical? Well, because the mind, the body, and spirit are one thing. They are not three different things kind of walking together, but we treat them that way. And when we treat them that way, then they are three different things, and they go off in their own directions with their own agendas. But when we treat them as one thing, they all come together in the service of being.
Why do you think that's important?
For them to be one thing?
Yeah, and to be regarded as one.
Well, because if you are really tired and you've been working a lot and your body says, I need to sleep, and you say to your body through your mind, no, I'm going to ignore the fact that you need to sleep because I want to do some more work, because if I just get this thing right, I'm going to, get famous or money or power or whatever. And so you say to the body, do more work because I have some higher goals than your needs. And then your nervous system, our nervous system, is caught in the middle and has to obey the dictates of the mind. And then the body gets tired and falls apart. And then you get sick, and then you can't even do your work. And then you get depressed in your mind because your body is falling apart. And then your nervous system says, see, told you so. So if the body, the nervous system, and the mind, if the body and the mind are not cooperating with each other, the nervous system is caught in the middle and has to do the dictates of the mind until it falls apart, because it has to obey nature at a certain point. So part of this is a deep listening. And the way that we begin to listen to what the signals our body is telling us, or the signals that the nervous system is telling us, is to do listening practices. I'm going to do asanas, I'm going to listen to my body. I'm going to breathe, and I'm going to listen to my nervous system. I'm going to meditate, I'm going to listen to my mind and watch my mind.
Yeah.
And so they're deep listening, deep receptivity practices. They're not really practices of attainment.
Did you enjoy that clip? What I really liked is when Eddie Stern talked about how we want spirituality to be easy. We don't want things to be difficult. And what I believe fundamentally and significantly is spirituality is something that's for all of us. It needs to be part of our lives in the same way that eating healthy. This disgusting green juice I've just drank, or this orange that I'll ultimately eat when I'm not intermittent fasting. You know, like people say this is a very tiny orange. It's an insultingly small orange. Like we have to engage in spiritual nutrition. And I think that, you know, find your own masters, find people you're interested in. I know I'm in a fortunate, privileged position of having direct access to these people. That's why I'm interviewing them and putting that content out on Luminary, which you can subscribe to if you wanna. Let me know in the comments below what kind of techniques you want to learn about. You want to hear more breath work? You want to learn more about meditation? What is it you're going through in your life? What things are causing you the most fear and consternation? Are you signed up to my mailing list already? Because if you are, you'll feel part of a community. We're getting into it over there. I'm telling people what I'm reading. I'm getting deep into everything I'm thinking about and putting out podcasts on there, other people's podcasts I'm even talking about. Imagine that, something that's not directly me, the very idea. Come see me live if you wanna, if you can, if you've got the time and the resources to. Otherwise, continue to enjoy the free resources. And once you're part of my mailing list, I'll give you email addresses so you can reach out for help directly if you want to. And sometimes I do live online events that you can participate in. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this video. Give it a thumbs up. Please turn on the notification bell and please subscribe to the Awakening side channel. It's all well and good going on about all this political madness that's going on in the world, but if we don't change ourselves and change our own consciousness, we ain't gonna get nowhere. If you enjoyed this video, have a look at this cheeky little guy. And if you want to go further down this little rabbit hole, please have a look at this one. Most importantly of all, please sign up to my mailing list. Come and see me live if you can, and
stay free.